Having great success with FFmpeg on Linux, and in this video my objective is to provide a tutorial of such that will give you a nice detailed explanation, education on how to use FFmpeg on your Linux machine, resulting in fabulous, stunning output for your posting and broadcasting pleasure. So let's get into it. First, a bit of detail about what you are seeing on the screen here. I am currently running the FFmpeg utility in what is known as a separate screen on the Linux operating system. FFmpeg, a command line utility for capturing graphics, can run as a separate process, enabling us to do other things. In order to be able to do other things, I'm going to leave this running in the background by hitting Control A and the letter D, and that takes me back to an active command line where I can issue other commands. And here you see the command line that I used to create that screen. So let's break this down a bit. We want to use FFmpeg to capture our screen. We first obviously want to launch the program. We then want to specify the size of the video, the resulting video that we want to have. So in my case, my actual screen size is 4K, so that's 3180 by 2160, I believe. I want to capture just a portion of that in my desktop recording. So I'm going to specify a quarter of my actual screen size using the 1920 by 1080 resolution. That's half of my screen size, excuse me, not a quarter. Then I need to tell the FFmpeg utility what driver to utilize to capture that screen. To do this, we specify X11 grab. X11 is historically a window manager on Unix and now Linux operating systems. So FFmpeg is going to tap into the capabilities of that X11 window manager to grab a portion of the screen. And in this case, that's 1920 by 1080, or half the screen size. Then we need to tell FFmpeg which display to utilize for this capture operation. We do that with the -i parameter, and in my case my screen is number 1, and so we specify that by typing a colon and the number 1. Pressing enter at this point would begin a screen capture, and my desktop would be captured into whatever file I specify at the end of the command. But there would be no sound associated with the recording. So let's add a bit more. I am going to specify a thread queue size in order to give the audio capture thread or activity enough room in which to operate. And I'm going to make that thread size 4096. Then I'm going to tell FFmpeg what driver to use to capture sound on my computer. And in this case, I'm going to specify ALSA. ALSA stands for the Advanced Linux Sound Architecture. And so FFmpeg is going to use this driver to capture sound, and we need to tell it which hardware device to utilize. In my case, there is both an internal or integrated microphone, and there is a microphone in the webcam that I currently have attached to the computer. The microphone in the webcam is much better than the one in the computer, but that happens to be the microphone that I'm using to record this video. So I will, for the purposes of this demonstration, specify the integrated microphone, and then I will also specify the bit rate at which I want to capture. So in this case, that'll be 48 kilohertz. Additionally, I'm going to pass this pixel format parameter specifying YUV420p. I do this so that the resulting file is compatible with Apple's QuickTime player. Without this parameter, you'd be able to play the file back on Linux and perhaps other operating systems, and maybe even other players on the Mac. But I do know that without this pixel format parameter specified for the output file, the QuickTime player cannot play the media. So we'll specify that, and I will also specify a frame rate of 30 frames per second for the resulting file. I will then give a file name. I'm going to locate this in a particular directory, and then I'm going to call it demo desktop capture. And I'd like to specify a detailed file name, so in the event that I wanted to run this command again, I could run it without concern for overwriting an existing file of the same name. So I'm going to do something a little bit advanced here and take advantage of Linux and its capabilities to get fancy with the file. So I'm going to run the date command as a part of naming this file. I'm going to indicate that I want to get down to the second as far as what the date command gives me back. And then I'm going to take that output and use the stream editor to remove any colons and replace them with underscores, because the colons would cause colons in the file name would cause problems for a number of command line utilities. And in fact, the Mac uses the colon to separate directory names, so we don't want those embedded in the file name. So here's our command. We can run this and begin capturing the screen, although if I were to do this, it would actually be quite redundant because I'm already capturing this region of the screen. So what I will do is modify this just a bit to capture another portion of the screen. So I'm going to say, I'm going to specify an offset both horizontally and vertically. So I think I can do, let's see, 1920. We'll go 1100. And do 10. Nope, a little bit too much. How about oh no, how about 1080? That'd be half the screen. All right. And so now we are running another instance of the FFMPEG utility. We are capturing a different region of the screen. And I'll try to include that in the video to show you an example of that. And we're using a separate microphone with dedicated thread Q. All right, and that's it for this particular tutorial. Stay tuned for more details in our journey on capturing media using the Linux operating system. Thank you for your time.